Hi everyone. This is the nutritional calculator team. I know it says Dev Week on the title screen there, but this will be our final presentation on the nutritional calculator app. And so we've gone over it a little bit during the first presentation during Dev Week, but just to reiterate, our application is intended to be a nutritional log. So the idea is that users will be able to enter in the food they ate that day, maybe enter in their weight, and then the food will be put into a log that can track your calories, your proteins, fats, carbs, things like that. And then you can track your weight via a chart. And so the way that we did this was using the Nutritionix API, which has some really nice nutritional facts data. Like you can actually retrieve, food labels that you would see, as long as the, stereotypical nutrition facts. So we built this app and put it on Heroku, and we use obviously HTML, CSS, and JavaScript. We found it easy to use jQuery as well. We're hosting our app on Node.js. We use our data storage is done by MongoDB, and we've made use of some external libraries like Passport.js for login and Chart.js for the goals. And then, so here's a list of the features that we offer. Basically, the first use case is that users can just search for food. They'll put it in a little search bar on the top, and they can add them into meals as, breakfast, lunch, dinner, or snack. And then they can also configure the amount of servings they had based on ounces, grams, the amount of recommended servings, etc. And so our app will calculate all of these nutrients on a meal basis. So you'll see a total calories for your breakfast, lunch, and dinner and snacks. And then they'll also keep a daily total as well. And since Dev Week, we've also added a feature that will grab a user's recorded weights, by day. So you can add a new weight each day. And the user's past weights will be shown as like a line graph so they can see the trend of how their weight's been going. Another thing that we've added since then is a calendar. So you can access your nutrient logs by day. So you can take a look at what you ate yesterday, take a look at those calories. And then another thing that we were looking to do was to add the login information, and we have options to log in using your Google account, a Twitter account, or your GitHub if you're a software developer. And yeah, we've made some other changes based on the peer review feedback that we got. And most of the feedback was that we should add a little more color, a little more, stuff to the UI. So a couple ways that we've done that is we've given some text background colors, which can both add visuals and help the user interpret what's going on. So for example, if someone wants to delete a food from their breakfast, when you hover over that button, it's actually going to show as red. And then to add your weight, for example, that button hovers green. And then we also add some background text with an orange color to keep in line with the color scheme. We've also styled things using Flexbox, and we've styled a couple things to go horizontally in the the flex direction. And we also added a rule to space it evenly, so it looks nice and even for good layout. We obviously also kept mobile design in mind as well, if someone's using a tablet or a smartphone. So we also have some media queries to keep the site responsive. And then we just added some basic information to our homepage about the technology used. There's a link to our GitHub if you want to check it out. And there's also a nice login button that directs users to the login screen. So we can take a look at it now here on Heroku. So here's our homepage. So with a nice simple button to view your log. I'm currently logged in as myself right now, so I'll log out But when you click this button to view your log, it directs you immediately to the login. You can pick any of these services to log in with. I'll do Google for simplicity. Then we have the log here. So this is the calculator that we were talking about. And we have the calendar here. We have the days totals on the bottom, and we have a container for each meal. So what you can do is you can enter in a food here. You can choose your servings with text or with this little up and down arrow here. And next you have to select a meal before you add it. Otherwise it's not gonna let you do it. And then we have the green and the red as well to help the users tell which button does which. Once we add it to the list, we can see the food's nutrients has been updated here with that nice orange background. And we also have the lunch total being updated as well as the daily total. And then we can add something else to see how the totals change. So that's how our log works. And then if we put it into a mobile screen look, this is what it would look like for a phone as well. You have the calendar up top, and then you can edit your log here, and the total will always be on your screen. And then the last page left is the goals. And so the goals is made using chart.js, which is an external library, and it will auto scale the time here. So as you add more weight, the x-axis will change to accommodate how far apart it is. So let's say we want to add something from last year, and then we want to add something today. It'll plot these 2 points. We can add something also from last year, just to show the graph.
Oh, that guy became weightless from 180
and then
300.
And then there's also a table of your entries as well, just so you can see that all there. So yeah, that's pretty much all of the features we have.
I'll see if I can you stop sharing your screen so I can share my screen?
Yeah.
Can you view it? Wait. Are you able to view my screen? So just making sure it's recording. Can you hear me, Trey?
Yep, audio's working.
Yeah. So just wanted to say that, add in some points that if the user, this is a really cool feature, if the user has logged some food, so it will have, it gives you a little feedback, a little underline, and you can, suppose you're adding some weight or adding some data on, April 8th, like suppose the user forgot, maybe they are keeping their logs. So, some people use some journals to have food, and maybe they forgot. Maybe you forgot to add log yesterday, so you can still add that. And now if you want to switch to today, if you can just simply click this button and switch to today's data, and it still works. That's the specialty of the app, because this is connected to a MongoDB database. So I don't want to go over and bore you guys, but this is saving in an Atlas remote MongoDB database. So even if you log out and you log in from your phone, you will still be able to view this data. It is not a static app where I enter information and as soon as I leave this page, it's not that the data goes away, it still persists. So, and you can see that when we were testing out the app, I added something on the 15th of April, but since we have updated the database, it's gone somewhere else. So you can see that I added milk here. I just added milk on the 8th and it still shows here. So that's with the help of MongoDB. And I wanted to talk a bit about the routing that as soon as you go to whatever date you go to, it shows the date here. So that's also another uh, a kind of a backend service we designed for this application. And you can also switch to different months of the day by just clicking this button. You don't have to go through, each month by using the drop-down list. And of course, as Trey talked about, these pills, the purpose of using these pills and using a button-like interface for this information is for better user readability, because that's very important. Because earlier, for our earlier design, this text it just existed. It was pretty hard to read. So now it's much easier to read, and everything is well defined in place. And for the goals, I wanted to make a better representation, which is much more realistic. So if I added my weight for today and last month, and these are pretty realistic weights except this one. So the app even records on what day did you input your weight. So if I hover over this, it will show me that I weighed 178 pounds on 14th of April. And if you did not input anything here, so it will just assume that your weight stayed the same. So if I'm adding something on the 1st of April, maybe I gained 10 pounds. So there's a little uptick. I think that's March 31st. Yeah, it's going. It's a little buggy since there is not much weight, not much data here. So that's what I wanted to add in as well. And the user also has the option to log out. Maybe you want to log in through your Twitter account, and maybe you want to log in through GitHub. GitHub, we added that because we all love GitHub and we are constantly using that. And feel free to add anything you think I missed, Trey.
Yeah, certainly. I did just think of one thing while you were demoing. While you have your screen up, if you'd want to go to your log, we could show off the nutritional labels. They appear when you click on that little black arrow that comes next to all the food.
Oh.
And then it will pull up a little chart with all the nutritional facts.
Oh, yeah.
So yeah, that's just one more thing.
Yeah, so we were using a jQuery plugin. This is for Nutritionix. So it's clearly, if maybe the user wants to see more information, like not just desaturated fat, but more like carbs and protein. We all know that burger has chicken, so it has some protein. So that's why it's 34 grams. I want to see if maybe if I add, just checking, if I had two burgers dinner, that's a lot of burgers. I took 2 serving sizes of burgers, but the protein is same because that's per one burger. I feel not really sure. So,
but it'll calculate the total on our app.
And we have little because it's trying to be too perfect here. So we should try to add a function which gives the round result of this number.
Mm-hmm.
So,
right now it's just a regular old float, but we can always round it to 2 decimal places.
So another thing I remembered was the UI part. Before the text was showing up here, I thought that was a good idea, but eventually we had to change it. And this is for branded items. It is also showing how much calories are there in 0.75 cups of whatever this is. So that it's much clearer that in how much quantity, how much calories are there even before you add it to the list. And another cool thing is you can increase the serving sizes as much as you want. Let me try again. Since this is the last presentation, I'm trying to show off as much as possible. So I guess that's it from me, guys. Really enjoyed this class and developing over the project. I hope you guys all are safe and you have a wonderful grade from this class. And if you want to add anything, Trey, you can.
I think you summed it up pretty well. Just stay safe out there and have a good summer. That about does it.
All right, let me see if I can stop recording before ending the call because I don't want it to abruptly stop recording or anything. How do I?
Yeah. Do you know if you can